We know fundamentally, I think, that Brexit was either in itself wrong or implemented badly. Brexit has been a disaster. We know this fundamentally. We also know fundamentally that the immigration issues, the refugee crisis has been handled appallingly, and the Home Office is in a state of national collapse. We know that we've handled, because of Brexit, we've handled the Irish situation badly. We know that the war in Ukraine and with Russia is not going well. It's going to linger and linger and linger. We know that COVID, the effects of COVID are ongoing. We also know that our banking system is in a state of, we're in need of serious repair still. That our finances are appalling. In the face of all this bad news, it's hardly surprising that we dominate, we let stories of unimportance dominate our days. Stories about Meghan and Harry, stories about Gary Lineker. And although these stories touch on real things, they are essentially trivial. Why? Because trivia is something we can actually get to grips with. We can perhaps even change the trivial. We cannot change. We cannot have any impact on these greater issues: Brexit, Ukraine, the refugee crisis. I'm afraid I disagree, of course. I think there are things we can have an impact on. We can have an impact on the refugee crisis. Not on our own. The Suella Braverman invasion thing is nonsense. It's like King Canute. We can only have an impact on that by leading our international friends, by leading other countries in a global conference to sit down. We should be hosting this. And we could perhaps make some sort of difference. Instead, we're banging on the dispatch box. I was going to say banging on the table, banging our head against a wall, because we have some of the most inane and inept ministers that I think we have ever suffered in this country. And it's one after another. And they are being endorsed and enabled by our government. Our government, indeed, they represent our government. They are part of our government. I mean, it's absurd. 20 years ago, these people would not have been given the time of day. They would not even have been elected. Now, they have control over us. And those who have been proven to have failed, have found some sort of refuge in second-rate television programs. And even there, I think they are probably on the cusp of inappropriate behaviour. To be elected to Parliament and to be messing around, hosting a TV programme. It doesn't look good. Indeed, I would strongly suggest, if this is the behaviour of the Jacob Rees-Moggs and Nadine Dorrises and so on, then actually Gary Lineker should retain his position and his wage at the BBC and get elected to the House of Commons or get appointed to the House of Lords. That's surely where he should be while he's doing his job in the House of in the BBC. Give him legitimacy to speak out, and I think I would much rather see Gary Lineker in the House of Lords than I would see Nadine Dorries and some of the twits that Boris Johnson has lined up to put there. No. Boris should get behind this. Revise his honours list again and put Gary Lineker at the top. That would do everyone a favour. But otherwise expect more of the trivia, because that is all we can stomach at the moment. And that is all we can possibly change. And while we might wish to change other things, we are led by people who do not have the breadth of vision to do so.